I would need is there a category for like pet owners? Is there any kind of language? If I would need the list, for instance, for them to speak Spanish only, and I also have a cybersecurity business trying to deal with government agencies. Are those kind of categories that I could customize with your
Yeah,
database?
so you have to think about it a little differently. Like, all right, are they a pet owner? Do we have a category that says I own a pet? No. But we have categories that say, were they looking at pet medicine? Pet medicine April, people look, that's someone pays us for pet medicine specifically. So, but that was their indicator. They own a pet. They're looking for pet medicine. And, if someone's looking for pet medicine for a dog or a cat 3 years ago, it's very likely they still have that dog or cat, so that's why the whole history gets very interesting, because you basically get to, like, theoretically, if these were all your databases, you can enrich these all together and figure out everything a particular person was looking at. So let's say they fall into all these databases, you would be able to pinpoint as time goes on who's in what. So basically, I know someone asked before, can you identify who's in a specific database once you make the first database? No. But in theory, as you build your ecosystem, you're doing that actually. And now, why is it a health insurance database? Because you built it. And now when people come to you and ask you for that data, it's not a, hey, what is it? It's a, oh, why is it good numbers? I don't know. You put the logic together. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to work in the data, to work with people who use it, because it's complicated. It's impossible to get good at this if you have not actually used it to some degree yourself and experimented with a lot of this. Like, someone asked me for comic book convention, not because they were gonna do anything, but if they ever wanted to go to what's it called? Whatever those festival things are, once Comic-Con once a year, this is basically a mailing list for 3 years from now. It's a forever mailing list. And this is a personality trait that's not going to change.
That's it. What about the language filter? Is that possible?
Yeah, there is a language filter. There's a few ways there's multiple ways actually. And I've been, after doing this specifically when we had this program up for the last 8 months, I found there is a very clever way to do this. So I had a gentleman who is in India who works on education visa programs with Indians in America, was like, how can I find all the Indians? And there is a language section, but that's not entirely helpful, because if you were born in America and your parents were from India, you're not going to have Hindi as your main language, but family is still connected to the country. So I found that the user actually was doing, and it was working well, was the last name. I don't think I saved it, but he was doing it by last name. So like, all right, Patel. Like, it definitely is, direct targeting and profiling, but statistically, you're gonna have people who are from India with the last name Patel. So that's what he was doing, just to think outside the box. So Spanish is a little different because you might have 6th generation Spanish, but that's when I would go off and you have the ethnicity or the language code. So E1, that's Spanish. Yeah, there's 10 million. No, E1's English. Does anyone know what Spanish is? I don't remember. I have it. But you get the idea. Oh, here you go. Spanish people.
It's so funny. This goes to your earlier point of, like, the more you use this system, the more you learn how to be creative in your, I like to call it audience engineering, and sort of query and filter engineering. And I mean, that's so much to the point of what Brian said at the beginning of, like, the more time you spend in here, the more all of this stuff, you come up with ideas. Oh, what if I try it this way? And that, like, we do this all the time. It's super fun.
Yeah, and you're more so turning into an architect, right? You know where it's located, and you know the shortcuts of how to get there, because there's just so much information that, they're paying you on your white label, not for the data. I have said it for 4 years, data is worth nothing, because if someone doesn't know what to do with it, or has the programs or computing to actually manage it, it is absolutely worthless. So basically, that's where you come in, where, how do I use this data? Well, that's why there's hundreds of white labels, because all of them do something different. Like, the whole concept originally was, what's wrong with Seamless AI? What's wrong with Apollo? All these companies.
This is what I say all the time to people when they want to know what we do as a platform. Listen, everybody has all this data. Our white label users help their clients get the right data at the right time when it actually matters. And that's our entire goal, man. That's what we do.
Oh, I didn't even know CMS charges you for data enrichment, buyer intent data. Like we're the raw material. We don't buy data from anyone. I mean, I was building these advanced scraping things going through Google web crawlers that just took input and output for 5 years. So we built all this stuff up, you know, and the reason why people were leaving these companies to come to us over the years was because we don't fit the pattern of how they collect their data.
And then they all overcharge you.
Well, yeah, that's without a doubt. You just have to be a little bit better because all these companies have valuations of $1 billion to $2 billion, and it's going to be very easy for you to damage that because you're not funded by venture capitalists, just like we are.
Here's the part where I get to really, really talk about Brian. Brian, more than anything, is a fair guy. He's not a greedy guy. I've worked with and for a lot of founders and a lot of entrepreneurs, and it is almost always revenue driven rather than functionality driven. And Brian has been very refreshing because all of this is here now because Brian was willing to put his money where his mouth was and build it all himself and prove all of this stuff out. And so the platform and the white label and being able to make data products, being able to sell you a data product for $500 that you could sell to 20 people for $500 and not scale how much he takes out of your pocket based on how much you're willing to go out and earn. Like, you don't have to work for him as a platform like some of the other platforms that are out there where they really secretly turn you into an uncompensated employee more than provide you with the foundational tools that you need to go out and build yourself a anonymity and your own sovereignty and your own revenue. And I think that it's one of the things that I really, really love and respect about working with Brian is that that's just who the guy is at his core.
Gotcha. How would you go about trying to find government potential leads?
So that would be its own intent category, probably. Like that's very, very niche. That's different than a lot of, I mean, what would it be? SAM.org maybe? There's SAM.gov.
I think it'd be SAM.gov, but what was the question? What are you looking for?
So I'm trying to sell cyber electronic security to government agencies.
I have an idea. Business professionals, because there's a category, an industry called government. Like industry called government. And then let's go put their seniority level at, CXO. I think that we can work with that. So there's 46,000 people work in the industry government. So now let's take a look. Government administration. Oh, yeah. I mean, just like that, there's 40,000 people who department in government. You got the Community and Social Services Commissioner, Chief of Police. This might be the best shot.
Yeah, there's your IT guy right there. I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Nope.
So then we can go up to department, type in tech to see what we narrow it down to. 3,000.
Networking or something like that.
So now we're in 3,000. Section.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
information technology. Yep, there you go.
And it takes time. That's why I mean, like, people aren't paying you for the data; they're paying for you how to find the data if you do the white label. Because I didn't know it was going to be there. Just by doing a few filters,
and likewise, I mean, listen, this is the idea of what you're paying us for. Is not only are we going to teach you how to sort of mine this stuff and get to what you need, but like Brian said, we provide you the raw materials. If you didn't have all of this, you wouldn't be able to even have a place to start. And look how fast, Brian spent a lot of time in the ecosystem, but look how fast he came up with a way to identify the people you're looking for. And that's frankly our job. Our job is to support you and make sure that when you are buying the raw materials, we're giving you the sort of coaching and guidance to really be able to kick that stuff around and try filtering it in a few different creative ways to see what works and to see how we can help you get down to get better.
One more thing. See, company name. What's common? U.S. Department of Education.
Boom. I mean, yeah, this is that's
I don't know if anyone works here anymore.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. This is actually a very clear way because we can actually get rid of probably the government. Not get rid of the government, but get rid of the company industry as government and go to, we can type in city of, no, company name, I'm sorry, city of. So now, what I'm saying? So you use the data to understand the data. So now we just found 1,145 cities. The company name.
Oh, wow. Yep.